All right, hey everybody, my name is Cameron Pfeiffer, and today we are going to talk about Zapier. So some of you might know a little bit about Zapier, but they provide a lot of integrations to various services. So for example, you can check for new emails on your Gmail and then forward them to Slack. So it's a way of connecting one service to another service in a very flexible way. We're very proud to announce that we actually have an open beta for Letta and Zapier, which means that we have a variety of actions and triggers that you can use to connect anything on Zapier to your agents on Letta. So without further ado, let's just kind of walk through some examples. I'll give you a brief overview of the Letta integration, a little bit about Zapier, and then Zapier. I don't know. I'm just going to tinker around and show off a few examples, and let's see how it goes. So let's go ahead and tinker around here. I'm in my Zaps view. To get here, you'll have to sign up. And then let's get started. I'm just going to hit create here. New Zap. You can talk to their little robot thing, but yeah, it's stupid. I don't know why we're doing that. It's actually pretty good though. If you haven't used it, it's pretty nice. But I'm going to do everything manually, good old-fashioned human style. So let's start by selecting a trigger. I'm going to focus right now on actions, Letta actions, primarily because it's one way that you can use to send data to your agent. Let's start with the Gmail integration because a lot of people have Gmail. And it's pretty easy to understand. Click Gmail. Now you'll see here that Gmail has been selected here on the left. I'm going to go to trigger event, and you'll see a bunch of stuff in here. When you get a new attachment, when you get into a conversation, new email, new label, something like this. So I'm actually just going to do new email. I think this is the easiest one. And then you can select your email. Here I've got my work email. Please don't message me. Actually, I might blur it out. I don't know. I feel like my email is available. Whatever. Continue. So you can select labels or mailboxes. If you leave this blank, it will just go to all of your email. So I'm just going to hit continue. And then you'll see here it says test trigger. And I'm going to hit test trigger, and it will go look at some existing emails. All right. And I wrote an email to myself here to test it out. So the email just says, hey Cameron, it's Cameron. We're testing the Zapier integration. And you can see here a bunch of fields, right? And I'll talk more about these in a second. But we have like URLs, we have thread IDs, we have names and emails, the plain text, the body text in HTML. You can take any of these fields and then manipulate them in whatever way you want. So if you're a person who's piping this data into your Letta agent, you can kind of like write a prompt template to pipe in whatever's in here into your agent. So I'm going to pick this record here. All right, so let's pick an action here. You should be able to search for Letta. There it is. I'm actually going to pin it. Always pin your Letta integration. And then I'm going to choose an event here. We have 4 actions in here. There's creating an agent from a template, creating an identity, getting identities, and then sending a message to an agent. Almost every Zap that you're probably going to use here is sending a message to an agent. This is how you can take data from any Zapier trigger, oh my God, that's going to kill me, and pipe it into your agent. So almost always just send message to agent. So I'm going to pin that too. Hold on, I need to check. Okay, it's Zapier. Zapier makes you happy. Anyway, whatever, I love you guys. It's a great product. I understand you shot yourself in the foot on that one, but okay, back to actual work here. You can select a Letta account. This is my work one. You can connect a new Letta account. In order to do this, you'll have to go to app.letta.com, API keys, create a new key, and then paste it into the window. Once you've pasted your API key in here, you'll always be able to access your Letta account in here. So I'm just going to select my professional one here, Letta 2. Sometimes it can take a second to load, so don't worry about that. Then I'm going to hit continue. And next, you have to kind of configure it here. So the primary one that you'll see here when you use the send message to agent Zap is agent ID. And to go get your agent ID, go to app.letta.com. And you're going to have to choose a project here. I'm going to go to Ion, and Ion is just kind of a general purpose agent that I have handy. And you'll be able to see in the top left here, you can see your agent ID. Hit the copy button here, and then go back to Zapier, and then you paste it into the agent ID field. Now, when you see this content part, this is the stuff that is going to go into the agent's context window. This is the message you're going to send it. So you can just type exact text if you want to. All right, and then we have to fill out this content field here. Content you should think of as like essentially a template, right? Anytime you receive an action, you can mix hard-coded text with let's do something real simple. Received a new email from name, and then I'm also going to add from email to names to emails, the subject. There's actually a few different body fields that you can use. You'll get body HTML and body plain. This stuff is really useful if the formatting is important, but because you're putting all this stuff in a language model, you probably want something much simpler. You just want the plain content. And so there's body plain here, which is just like standard plain text. So I'm actually going to select that stuff here. And so that's my content. I'm going to hit continue. If you scroll down here, you can actually see the example content here. So I'm going to hit test step. It'll send an agent to the Letta agent, and you'll get a little confirmation. And so our message is off to the races. So let's go take a look at the ADE and see if it made it to the agent. And then boom, your agent can flick through stuff. And then it'll pull out my email here. I have a Zap set up so that it sends all of my company emails. So I think this is probably one of the most valuable ones that I have. So let's actually go back and play around with this email one. I'm going to change it to something else here. I think we might be able to. New mention. All right, and then I've signed into my Discord. If you want to try this, you can do connect new account. It'll direct you through like a super simple sign up flow. Continue. Text and announcements. Off topic. This is a channel. This is on the Letta Discord. So let's see. Continue. Test trigger. Let's do Discord. I'm going to ask people in the Discord to @ me. Somebody on our Discord responded to my request for mentions, and he wrote, "Hi, hello." So I'm going to do continue with selected record. Okay. So we're going to test out the flow here using this record. I've left the agent configuration the same, so I just changed the trigger. As always, you can go to configure, redirect your agent to something else by typing it in here. Cameron got mentioned on Discord. And let's add some fields here. / let's see what's available. We will do the author username here, and then I'm just going to select the content thing. So we'll just get, this is just whoever said it, and then whatever the content was. And then continue. And we can see here, this is the thing that's going to get sent to our agent. So I'm just going to test it out. Okay, looks like we've got it. Cameron got mentioned on Discord. So it's just like tracking some basic information about me. And when you're happy with this, when you're happy with your Zap, you can just hit publish. And once it publishes, it'll kind of keep track of stuff for you. And so now it's live. So that's an example of me getting mentioned on Discord. Let's try creating a new one so I can show off some of the triggers. Create new Zap. I'm going to select a trigger here. I'm going to pick Letta as the trigger this time, not as the action. Choose an event. So we have 3 different triggers. You can do this when a new agent is created, when a new message is created, or when a new project is created. I think most people are just going to want new message. I'm going to select an account here. Again, I'm going to use my work account. Then I hit continue. I'm going to create a new agent. I'll just do a little basic one here. And then I'm going to copy this agent ID, paste in the agent ID, and then hit continue. And then we'll do test trigger to get a few examples. Oh, there's nothing in there. Let me ask it to say something. Hey, how's it going? All right, so my agent now has a message in there. Test my trigger. So now I should have a message in there to pull. All right, so we've got this message here. Continue with selected model. And then let's see what I want to do. Let's go to Slack. Send me a message. So direct message. Configure to Cameron. There's reasoning there. And then let's do content, and I can insert message content. Continue. Here is the text that we're going to send to the Slack thing. So it's just going to say something really simple. I'm just going to post this. That's one way that you can have any new messages that an agent generates wherever and pipe it into any other service. So I can also do this with emails, for example. There's plenty of other kind of Zapier triggers that you can use. So we get a lot of requests for doing regular agent. You can use the schedule tool in Zapier if you want to have your agent run every month, every week, every day. You can pull in RSS feeds. So if there's a new item in a feed, let's actually go look. Actually, I'm going to go to the New York Times here, and I am going to choose the technology RSS feed. I'm going to copy in the URL, go back to Zapier, new item in feed. I'm going to give it the URL, then just hit continue. And then I'm going to test the trigger. And then we get this new article here about the Federal Trade Commission starting an inquiry of how 6 major tech companies monitor activity that could harm minors. Letta action here. Send a message to an agent. Select my account. Go pick that agent again. Copy the agent ID. Put it in here. New RSS entry from. Let's post in a link. And then we can do. Let's add the title here. Description. And what else do we have here? We have content, but the New York Times doesn't publish content, I believe. So let's leave it out. Hit continue, and then we'll do test step. And then this should go to our agent. So let's see how it does. Boom, there it is. We see that there's a new RSS entry, and then the agent says that sounds like a significant story. So you can use this to have your agent monitor any number of RSS feeds for new articles, which I think is kind of cool. So I hope those are a few interesting examples. And remember, if you want this to go live so that this always runs, make sure you hit publish. Otherwise, this is just a test run. So I've been super pleased with it, and I hope you are too. I think this is a huge game changer for Letta agents because, Letta agents have a lot of capacity, outgoing capacity. They can use tools, but getting information into them and triggering them requires that you kind of do application side stuff or that you talk to them in the ADE or whatever your preferred Letta front end is. But now you can make them passive. You can convert your agents into things that always run. They're always ready to receive information. Most of the time, I would use Zaps because they're kind of expensive to ingest information into the agent and then make sure you work with that agent to handle how it's going to notify you if you need that at all. But any MCP server that you give the agent that allows it to communicate with the outside world, you can just give it that tool and tell it to use it whenever it gets information that you might need. So yeah, go play around. If you like it, let us know in the Discord. Yeah, happy playing around. My name's Cameron. There's Altoids. I think these are my bosses. I don't think I'm supposed to eat these, but wherever they can't stop me. I'm doing YouTube. I'm making content. Doesn't matter what I do. Boom, baby. Okay. Have a good day, everybody.